Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Tommy Voris, the author of the #1 international best-selling women's weight loss book, 5 Evolutions for Sustainable Weight Loss, which guides you through a specific process to evolve your mind to transform your body forever. And this is part 6 of a multi-part series of why diets don't work. And today I'm going to share with you how diets don't work because they inevitably lead to guilt and shame, which actually promotes emotional eating and weight gain. Welcome back. I'm glad you're here. I'm known as the anti-diet doctor because my wife Pamela and I lost over 100 pounds and we've kept it off for over 10 years once we moved away from diets and instead towards focusing on our mindset, on evolving our mind. And as I said, this is part 6 of a multi-part series of why diets don't work. And the purpose of this series is to help you make your shift away from diets and instead towards sustainable weight loss. So let's get started. The 6th reason, in no particular order, of why diets don't work is because they inevitably lead to guilt and shame, which in and of itself leads to weight gain by promoting emotional eating. And listen, before my own evolution, right? Before my weight loss, which began January 23rd, 2005, and as I mentioned in other videos, I remember being on so many different diets for years and years, and actually for most of my adult life, with nothing to show for it. And there are so many different reasons for this that I covered a bunch of them, or a handful of them, in the last 5 videos. And regardless of what or which diet I was on, I remember that inevitably I would begin to lose traction. I would begin to lose momentum, and I would reluctantly begin to fail to follow the diet. As studies show, just about everybody does. And if you're like I was, I'm sure you've experienced this for yourself. So when that happened, how did it make you feel? Because if you're like me, I'm betting horrible. In fact, this was the worst feeling for me because I set out to better myself. I set out to finally get my weight under control. This was such a huge deal for me that I would tell everybody around me. Everybody around me knew that I was starting yet another diet. And I have to say, it finally got to the point where I would announce to the people closest to me that I was starting another diet, and I would get the look. And you might know that look, right? Sort of the doubtful yet somewhat sympathetic look. Almost like, why waste your time, right? And what made it worse is that I would start these diets. I would start dieting, and typically it wasn't just me. Usually I was leading a small group of my patients. So I was supposed to be the leader, right? The facilitator. So when I would start to give in, when I would start to slip up, and when I would start, just messing up, eating this or that, let me not sugarcoat it, right? Based on my personality, I tend to be either all in or all out. And when I would slip up, I would binge eat, right? I would consume an enormous amount of calories. In my mind, I would think, I'll just start back up tomorrow. So I would go crazy that particular evening. And this was devastating to me, and I remember feeling so horrible the very next day. Not just horrible from the food hangover, which I'm sure you can relate to, but even more horrible from giving up on myself. And I would feel so guilty, and I would feel shame, right? Which is blame turned inward, because I thought I had no one else to blame. This wasn't true. In fact, let me pause here for a moment, because if you've been on and off of diets for years and years and you're still struggling with your weight, I'm telling you, it's not your fault. You've been brainwashed by billions of dollars in advertising telling you the wrong thing, telling you that the next in vogue diet is the answer. Well, the bottom line is it's not. Diets are not the answer because they're so restrictive, they can't possibly be sustained. So inevitably, they lead to shame, which only compounds the issue because they drop your energetic level. They drop your emotional state, which brings me to one of the most common and actually most important misconceptions about weight loss. And listen, please pay attention to this part because this is one of the most important concepts for you to not only understand and to comprehend, but for you to live by. Because for you to achieve lasting weight loss, you have to get this concept. Because most people have it completely backwards, including the self-appointed weight loss experts out there. Most people have it backwards. They think that after they lose the weight, that's when they'll feel successful, energized, grateful, and happy with themselves. It's exactly the opposite. It's when you feel successful, energized, grateful, and happy with yourself, that's when you feel that way consistently, that's when you'll lose the weight. That's when you'll keep it off. You have to feel and experience those feelings, those emotions first. You have to put and keep yourself in a positive emotional state first. You have to raise your energetic level first. You have to feel and experience gratitude first. You have to be happy and proud of yourself first. And then, as a result, you'll get the lasting weight loss you're looking for. This is such an important concept, which we're going to definitely be exploring much deeper in future videos, because the bottom line is we are not machines. We are emotional creatures. You are an emotional creature, and your emotions drive your behavior. My emotions drive my behavior. So be sure to subscribe because I don't want you to miss the future videos. So for the purposes of this video, the sixth reason why diets don't work is because they lead to guilt and shame, which drops your energy, drops your emotions, and leads to emotional eating. If you're ready to take this deeper, go right now to antidietdoctor.com/blog and subscribe. This way we can notify you, or we will notify you, about my next free live online trainings about ending emotional eating. So listen, I hope you got value today, and I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about moving away from the guilt, away from the shame of dieting? Leave your comments right on this page below. I want to hear from you. And until we meet again, be awesome.